Act 1 of Three Judgments at a Blow by Pedro Calderón de la Barca, translated by Edward Fitzgerald. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae.
Pedro IV, King of Arragon, read by Alan Mapstone.
Don Mendo Torellas, his minister, read by Todd.
Donna Violante, Mendo's daughter, read by Michele EatonElvira,
her maid, read by Ahmad Yama Muhammad.
Don Lope De Urrea, read by João
SennaDonna Blanca, his wife, read by Sonia.
Don Lope, their son, read by Jon Hunter.
Beatrice, their servant, read by ShrimpPhish.
Don Guillen, a friend of Don Lope's, read by
tombookerVicente, young Lope's servant, read by
GiordanoRobbers, read by Agnes Robert
BehrVoices Within, read by InkellFirst Officer, read by Stacey M.
Stage Directions, read by Larry Wilson. Three Judgments at a Blow, Act 1. Scene 1. A mountain pass near Saragossa. Shot within. Then enter Don Mendo and Violante, pursued by robbers, among whom is Vicente.
Villains! Let steel or bullet do their worst. I'll die ere yield.
Heaven help us!
Fool to strive against such odds, upon their own ground too, red with the blood of hundreds like yourselves.
Come, sir, no more ado, but quietly give my young madam up. Nice picking for our captain.
Not while a drop of blood is in my body.
Here's at you, then.
My father!
As the robbers attack Mendo, enter Don Lope.
How now? Whom do you have here?
Oh, noble captain, we found this lady resting from the sun, under the trees, with a small retinue, who of course fled, all but this ancient gentleman, who still holds out against us.
Lope to Mendo.
What can you expect against such numbers?
Not my life, but death. You come in time. Upon my knees I do beseech of you.
Kneels.
No other mercy, save of instant death to both of us.
Arise. You are the first has moved me to the mercy you decline. This lady is your wife?
My only daughter.
In spirit as in blood. If by his death you think to make you masters of my life, default of other weapon, with these hands I'll cease the breath of life, or down these rocks dash myself headlong.
Lady, calm yourself. Your beauty has subdued an angry devil, one like yourself first raised within my soul. Your road lies whither, sir?
To Saragossa, where, if I could be quite...
Your name?
Don Mendo Torellas. After a long embassage to Paris, Rome, and Naples, summoned back by Pedro, King of Arragon, with whom, if't be, as oft, some youthful petulance, calling for justice or revenge at home, drives you abroad to these unlawful courses, I pledge my word.
Alas, sir, I might hail your offer could I hope that your deserts, however great, might cancel my account of ill-deserving. But indeed my crimes have gathered so in number and in weight, and condemnation, committed some of them, to stave away the very punishment they must increase at last. Others, again, in the sheer desperation of forgiveness that all have heaped upon me.
Nay, nay, nay. Despair not. Trust to my good offices, in pledge of which here, now, before we part, I swear to make your pardon the first boon I'll ask for or accept at the king's hand. Your name?
However desperate and ashamed to tell it, you shall hear it, and my story.
To the robbers who excellent.
Retire. Don Mendo, I am Lope, son of Lope De Urrea, of some desert, at least in virtue of my blood.
Indeed. Urrea and myself were, I assure you, intimate friends of old. Another tie, if wanting one, to bind me to your service.
I scarce can hope it, sir. If I, his son, have so disgraced him with my evil ways, and so impoverished him with my expenses, were you his friend, you scarcely can be mine. And yet, were I to tell you all, perhaps I were not all to blame.
Come, tell me all. 'Tis fit that I should hear it.
I begin to breathe again.
Then listen, sir. My father in his youth, as you perhaps may know, but why I know not, held off from marriage, till bethinking him, or warned by others, what a shame it were, so proud a name should die for want of wearer, in his late years he took a wife, a lady, of blameless reputation and descent, as noble as his own, but so unequal in years that she had scarcely told 15, when age his head had whitened with such snows as froze his better judgment.
Mendo, aside.
I know too well, too well.
Long she repelled his suit, feeling how ill-sorted years agree, but at the last, before her father's will, she sacrificed her own. Oh, sacrifice, that little lacks of slaughter. So my father, averse from wedlock's self, and she from him, think what a wedlock this must be, and what the issue that was like to come of it. While other sons cement their parents' love, my birth made but a wider breach in mine. Just in proportion as my mother loved her boy, my father hated him. Yes, hated, even when I was lisping at his knees, that little language charms all fathers' hearts. Neglecting me himself, as I grew up, he neither taught nor got me taught to curb a violent nature, which by love or lash may even be corrected in a wolf. Till, as I grew, and found myself at large, spoiled both by mother's love and father's hate, I took to evil company, gave rein to every passion as it rose within. Wine, dice, and women, what a precipice to build the fabric of a life upon! Which, when my father saw tottering to its fall, he strove to train the tree that he had suffered to take root in vice, to grow up crooked. All too late. Though not revolting to be ruled by him, I could not rule myself. And so we lived, both in one house, but wholly apart in soul, only alike in being equally my mother's misery. Alas, my mother! My heart is with her still. Why, think, Don Mendo, that would she see me, I must creep at night, muffled, a tiptoe, like a thief to her, lest he should know of it. Why, what a thing that such a holy face as filial love must wear the mask of theft. But to sum up the story of my sorrows and my sins that have made me a criminal, and him almost a beggar. In the full heyday of my wilfulness there lived a lady near, in whom methought those ancient enemies, wit, modesty, and beauty, were all reconciled. To her, casting my coarser pleasures in the rear, I did devote myself, first with mute signs, which by and by began to breathe in sighs, and by in passionate words that love tossed up all shapeless, but all glowing hot up from my burning bosom, and which first upon her willing ears fell unreproved, then on her heart, which by degrees they wore more than I used to say her senseless threshold wore by the nightly pressure of my feet. She heard my story, pitied me with her sweet eyes, and my unruly passion, flushed with the promise of first victory, pushed headlong to the last, not knowing, fool, how in love's world the shadow of disappointment exactly dogs the substance of success. In fine, one night I stole into her house, into her chamber, and with every vow of marriage on my tongue, as easy then to utter as thereafter to forswear, when in the very jewel I coveted, very compliance seemed to make a flaw that made me careless of it when possessed. From day to day I put our marriage off with false pretence, which she at last suspecting falsely continued seeming to believe, till she had got a brother to her side, a desperate man then outlawed, like myself, for homicide, who, to avenge her shame, with other two waylaid me on a night when, as before, I unsuspectingly crept to her house, and set upon me so, all three at once. I just had time to parry their thrusts and draw a pistol, which till then they had not seen, when—
Voices within.
Fly! Away! Away!
Enter Vicente.
What is the matter now?
Captain.
Well, speak.
We must be off. The lady's retinue, who fled, have roused the soldiery, and with them are close upon our heels. We've not a moment.
Then up the mountain.
Whither I will see they shall not follow you. And take my word, I'll not forget my promise.
I accept it.
Only, before we part, give me some token the messenger I send may travel with safe through your people's hands.
Lope giving a dagger.
This, then?
A dagger? An evil-omened password?
Ah, Don Mendo, what has a wretched robber got to give unless some implement of death? And see, the wicked weapon cannot reach your hand, but it must bite its masters.
His hand bleeding.
Ill-omened, as you say.
Voices within.
Away! Away!
They're close upon us.
Oh, quick, begone! My life hangs on a thread, while yours is in this peril.
That alone should make me fly to save it. Farewell, lady. Farewell, Don Mendo.
Farewell.
What strange things one sun between his rise and setting brings.
Exit.
Let us anticipate, and so detain the soldiers. That one turn of fortune's wheel years of half-buried memory should reveal.
Could I believe that crime should ever be so amiable? How fancy with us plays, and with one touch colours our future days.
Excellent severally. Scene 2. An audience hall in the palace of Pedro, King of Arragon. Enter Don Lope De Urrea and Don Guillen.
Such bosom friends, sir, as from infancy your son and I have been, I were ashamed, you being in such trouble, not to offer my help and consolation. Tell me aught that I can serve you in.
Believe me, sir, my heart most deeply thanks your courtesy. When came you to the city?
Yesterday, from Naples.
Naples?
To advance a suit I have in Arragon.
I, too, am here for some such purpose, to beseech the king a boon I doubt he will never grant.
Even now his highness comes.
Enter King Pedro and train.
So please your majesty listen to one, of whom already you have largely heard, Don Lope De Urrea.
Oh, Don Lope.
I come not either to repeat in words the purport of so many past petitions. My sorrows now put on a better face before your highness' presence. I beseech you to hear me patiently.
Speak, Aurea, speak.
Speak, if I can, whose sorrow rising still clouds its own utterance. My liege, my son, Don Lope, loved the lady here, seduced her by no feigned vows of marriage, but compelled by me, who would not listen to a suit without my leave contracted, put it off from day to day, until the lady, tired of a delay that argued treachery, engaged her brother in the quarrel, with 2 companions, set upon my son one night to murder him. The lad, whose mettle would never brook affront, nor cared for odds, drew on all three, slew one, a homicide that nature's common law of self-defense permits, the others fled, and set on him the offices of justice, one of whom in his escape he struck. A self-defense against your laws I own not so to be excused. Then fled himself up to the mountains. I must needs confess, he better had deserved an after pardon by lawful service in your camp abroad, than aggravating old offence at home by lawless plunder. But your highness knows it is an ancient law of honour here in Arragon, that none of noble blood in mortal quarrel quit his native ground, but to return. The woman, twice aggrieved, her honour and her brother lost at once, for him it was my son slew of the three, now seeks to bring her sorrows into port, and pitying my grey hairs and misery, consents to acquit my son on either count, providing I supply her wherewithal to hide her shame within some holy house, which, straitened as I am, that by my troth I scarce, my liege, can find my daily bread, I have engaged to do, not only this, but in addition to the sum in hand, a yearly income, which to do, I now am crept into my house's poorest rooms, and to such straits may come nobility, have let for hire what should become my rank and dignity to an old friend, Don Mendo Torellas, who I hear returns today to Saragossa. It remains, my liege, that being by the plaintiff self-absolved, my son your royal pardon only needs, which, if not he nor I merit ourselves, yet let the merits of a long ancestry, who swell your glorious annals with their names writ in their blood, plead for us not in vain. Pity the snows of age, that misery now thaws in torrents from my eyes. Yet more, pity a noble lady, my wife, his mother, who sits bowed down with sorrow and disgrace in her starved house.
This is a case, Don Lope, for my Chief Justice, not for me.
Alas, how little hope has he who, looking up to dove-eyed mercy, sees but in her place severely sordid justice.
It's not fits that the tribunal which arraigned the crime pronounce the pardon also?
Were it so, I know not where to look for that tribunal, or only find it speechless, since the death of Don Alfonso.
His successor's name this day will be announced to Arragon.
Yet, let a father's tears...
They might indeed, the marble heart of justice, make to bleed.
Exeunt King, Don Guillen, and Train.
And thus, to satisfy the exigence of public estimation, one is forced to sacrifice entreaty and estate for an ill son. Yet had but this petition been inflamed with love, that love of his had lit in me, my prayer had surely prospered. But 'tis done, fruitless or not, well done, for Blanca's sake. Poor Blanca, though indeed she knows it not, and scarcely would believe it, but who comes here? The friend of better days, Don Mendo. I would hide me from his eye, but, oh indignity, his ancient friend, equal in birth and honour to himself, must now, reduced by a shameless son, become his tavern keeper. For the present, I may hold back. The king too, come to meet and do him honour.
Enter meeting, King with Train, and Don Mendo.
My royal master, let me at your feet, now and for ever.
Rise, Don Mendo, rise, Chief Justice of all Arragon.
My liege, how shall I rise with such a weight of honour and solemnest responsibility as you have laid upon my neck?
'Tis long since we have met. How fare you?
How but well, on whom your royal favour shines so fair.
Enough. You must be weary. For today go rest yourself, Chief Justice, and tomorrow we'll talk together. I have much to tell and much to ask you.
Your Highness knows how all my powers are at your sole command, and only well employed in doing it.
Exit King with train.
If it be true that true nobility slowly forgets what once it has esteemed, I think Don Mendo will not turn away from Lope De Urrea.
My old friend, I must forget myself, as well as honour, when I forget the debt I owe your love.
For old acquaintance, then, I kiss your hand. And on 2 other counts. First, as your host, you know, on your arrival, be assured that I shall do my best to entertain you. And secondly, congratulating you on your new dignity, which you hardly done before I am your suitor.
Ah, Don Lope, how gladly shall I serve you.
This memorial I had presented to the king, and he referred to his Chief Justice.
Oh, trust to me, and to my loyal friendship in the cause.
A son of mine, Don Mendo?
Nay, no more. I am apprised of all.
I know that men think my heart hardened toward my only son. It might have been so. Not, though, till my son's was flint to me. Oh, Mendo, by his means, my peace of mind, estate, and good repute are gone forever.
Nay, be comforted. I fill a post where friendship well can grant what friendship fairly asks. Think from this hour that all is ended, not for your sake only, but for your sons, to whom, you soon shall hear the whole strange history, I owe my life, and sure shall not be slack to save his own. All will be well. Come, let us to your house, whither, on coming to salute the king, I sent my daughter forward.
I rejoice to think how my poor Blanca will rejoice to do her honor. You remember Blanca?
Remember her indeed, and shall delight to see her once again.
Aside.
O lying tongue to say so, when the heart beneath would fain we had not met, or might not meet again.
Scene 3. A room in Urrea's house. Enter Blanca and Violante in travelling dress, meeting.
How happy am I that so fair a guest honours my house by making it her own, and me her servant. To welcome and to wait on Violante I have thus far intruded.
Nay, Donna Blanca, mine is the honour and the happiness. Who coming thus to Arragon a stranger, finds such a home and hostess? Pardon me that I detain you in this anteroom, my own not ready yet.
You come indeed before your people looked for you.
But not before my wishes, lady, I assure you, not minding on the mountains to encounter another such a risk.
There was a first, then?
So great that I assure you, and too truly.
Aside.
My heart yet beats with it.
How was it?
Why thus, in wishing to escape the noonday sun, that seemed to make both air and land breathe fire, I lighted from my litter in a spot that one might almost think the flowers had chosen to tourney in, so green and smooth the sward on which they did oppose their varied crests, so fortified above with closing leaves, and all encompassed by a babbling stream. There we sat down to rest, when suddenly a company of robbers broke upon us, and would have done their worst had not, as suddenly, a young and gallant gentleman, their captain, arrested them, and kindly— But how now? Why weep you, Donna Blanca?
Weeping, yes, my sorrows with your own, but to your tale.
Nay, why should I pursue it if my trouble awake the memory of yours?
Your father, saw he this youth, this robber cavalier who graced this grace so handsomely?
Indeed, and owes his life and honour to him.
Oh, he had atoned for many a foregone crime by adding that one more. But I talk wild. Pardon me, Violante. I have an anguish ever in my breast, at times will rise and sting me into madness. Perhaps you will not wonder when you hear this robber was my son, my only son, whose wicked ways have driven him where he is, from home and law and love.
Forgive me, lady, I mind me now. He told us, but I was too confused and terrified to heed to names. Else credit me.
Enter Urrea and Mendo.
Largest, a largest wife, for bringing you joy and good fortune to our house, from which they have so long been banished.
Long indeed.
So long, methinks, that coming all at once, they make me lose my manners.
To Violante.
These fair hands must, as I think it will, my pardon sign, inheriting such faculty. Oh, Blanca, I must not let one ignorant moment slip. You know not half our joy. Don Mendo, my old friend and our new guest, graced at the very threshold by the king with the chief justiceship of Arragon, points his stern office with an act of mercy by pardoning your Lope, whom we know shall have once more with us, I trust, forever. Oh, join with me in thanking him.
I am glad, Don Mendo, that we meet under a roof where I can do you honour. For my son, I must suppose from what your daughter says, you would, without our further prayer or thanks, have done as you have done.
Too true. I know, and you still better, lady, that, all done, I am your debtor still.
Enter Elvira.
Madam, your room is ready.
May I then retire?
If I may wait upon you thither.
Nay, nay, 'tis I, that as a grey-haired page, must do that office.
Granted, on condition that I may do as much for Donna Blanca.
As master of the house, I must submit without condition.
Exeunt Violante and Urrea.
You were going, sir?
To wait upon you, Blanca.
Nay, Don Mendo, least need of that.
Oh, Blanca, heaven knows how much I have desired to talk with you.
And to what purpose, sir? No longer in your power, perhaps, nor will, to do as well as talk.
If but to say how to my heart it goes seeing you still as sad as when I left you years ago.
As sad as when you left me years ago? I understand you not, am not aware I ever saw you till to-day.
Ah, Blanca, have pity.
Nay, Don Mendo, let us cease a conversation uselessly begun, to end in nothing. If your memory, out of some dreamt-of fragments of the past, attached to me, the past is dead in time. Let it be buried in oblivion.
Oh, with what courage, Blanca, do you wield your ready woman's wit?
I know not why you should say that.
But I know.
If be so, agree with me to say no more of it.
But how?
By simple silence.
How be silent under such pain?
By simple suffering.
Oh, Blanca, how learn that?
Of me, and thus. Beatrice.
Enter Beatrice.
Madame.
Light Don Mendo to his chamber, thus be further trouble sped.
Nay, rather coals of fire heaped on my head.
Exeunt severally. End of Act 1. Act 2 of Three Judgments at a Blow by Pedro Calderón de la Barca, translated by Edward Fitzgerald. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2, Scene 1. A room in Urrea's house. Enter Urrea and Blanca on one side, and Lope and Vicente on the other.
Thrice blessed be the day that brings me back in all humility and love, my father, to kiss your feet once more.
Rise up, my son, as welcome to your parents as long looked for. Rise and embrace me.
Till I have your hand, I scarcely dare.
Then take it, Lope, there. And may God make thee virtuous as thy father can pray for thee. Thy mother, too.
O madam, I scarcely dare with anguish and repentance lift up my eyes to those I have made weep so many bitter tears.
You see, my son, you keep them weeping still. Not bitter tears, but tears of joy. Oh, welcome home again.
Where is there any room for a poor devil who has done penance upon rock and water this many a day, and much repents him of his former sins?
What? You alive too?
Yes, sir. This saddle's pad.
Showing Lope.
Or, if you like, the beast that bears the saddle. Or, by another rule, that where the cat jumps also goes her tail.
Lope to his father.
You see, sir, in such godly company I must repent.
Why, devil take it!
What? Swearing?
But some poor relic of our former life that yet will stick. Madam, permit me, if not to kiss your hand, nor even your feet, at least the happy ground on which they walk.
Rise, rise. How can I less than welcome one who has so loyally stood by my son through evil and through good?
A monument, as one might say, madam, ad perpetuum, fidelis amicii memoriam.
Enter Beatrice.
What? Is my master home? Then by the saints, saving your presence, and before your faces, I must embrace him.
Thanks, good Beatrice.
You see how all rejoice to see you, Lope, but none so more than I, believe it. But now 'tis time you wait on Mendo, and acknowledge the kindness he has done us. See, Beatrice, if he be in his room or busy there.
Exit Beatrice.
Meanwhile, my son, I crave one patient hearing to what I have to say.
Now for a lecture.
Silence, sir. Coming here, we must expect and bear such things. Pray, speak, sir.
You see, Lope, and doubtless must have heard of it before, in what a plight we are. My property, what yet remains of it, embroiled and hampered, and all so little that this last expense of getting, as I have, your Estefania, who has already cost us all so much, into a convent. To do this, I say, I have been forced to let my house for hire to my old friend. Yeah, almost, I assure you, to beg from door to door. Enough of that. 'Tis done. And you are now at last restored to home and station. Wealth, I cannot say. But all is well that ends well. All I ask, and 'tis with tears and with a broken voice I ask it. I would ask it on my knees if these white hairs forbade not such descent, that from this day, in pity to us all, perhaps in gratitude, you would repent your past excess. Yea, surfeited with that, would henceforth tame your headlong passions down into a quiet current. Help me, son, restore the shaken credit of our house, and show, let us both show, that misery has taught us not in vain. Let us be friends henceforth, no rivalry of love or hate between us, each doing what in him lies to make what may remain of life to each happy and honorable. On my part, I stake a father's love and tenderness, and will not you, as freely on your side, wager your filial obedience? Your father asks, implores you. Oh, consider you may not always have a friend in need to rescue as now. Nay, disappoint his mercy, and again provoke the laws he now remits, that friend may turn to foe, and sacrifice the life he vainly spared.
There only wants, in Sacula Saculorum, to finish off with.
Sir, I promise you amendment, that shall make the past a foil to set the future off.
Enter Mendo.
I come in time to vouch fulfillment of so fair a vow.
Oh, sir!
I knew you on your road to me, your errand too, and thus much have forestalled of needless courtesy.
Pray God reward you with such advancement in your prince's love as envy, the court hydra, shall not hiss. But general love and acclamation write in gold letters in our history, for ages and for ages. Sir, your hand.
My heart, you shame me by your thanks for service that the veriest churl had paid for what you did me, Lope. Why, I'm your debtor still. But now, enough. I cannot steal more time from business. The king expects me.
I too must abroad.
Would I could wait on both, but as it is, I think my father's self would waive his right, in favour of our common benefactor.
Indeed, indeed, I do rejoice you should.
Exit with Blanca.
And I, not knowing if your choice be right, know that I would not lose you for a moment, so glad your presence makes me.
Exit with Lope.
Beatrice!
Well?
Think you not, now that our principals are fairly out of the way, you owe me a kiss on my arrival?
Aye, hot from the oven.
Ah, Beatrice, if you only knew what heartaches you've cost me.
You indeed, robbing and murdering and I don't know what beside up in the mountains. And then my new madame that's come with you, Donna Violante, with her fine Elvira. I know, sir, when your master was courting his mistress, you...
Now, my own Beatrice, if you could only know what you are talking of as well as I, how little jealousy could such a creature as that give you?
Well... But why?
Not a woman at all, neither maid nor mermaid. Why, didn't I catch her with all those fine locks of hers clean off her head?
Clean off her head?
The woman's bald.
Bald?
Has my hand. Besides, all the fine white chevaux de frise that ornaments her gums.
Well?
All sham.
What? My fine madame, their false teeth?
Oh, and half a dozen villainous things, I could tell you, did it become a gentleman to tell tales of ladies. But see, here is master coming back.
Goodbye, then, for the present. Vicente, false teeth and a wig.
Exit. Enter Don Lope.
Vicente, have you by any chance seen Violante?
Not that I know of, sir. She may, however, have passed without my knowing her.
Vicente still, as if it were possible one who had seen such beauty could ever forget it.
Why, sir, if her maid Elvira happened to be by her side.
Fool!
Pray, is it impossible in the system of things that the maid should be handsomer than the mistress?
Oh, could I but see her!
Take care, sir. Beware of raising the old devil. And now we are but just out of the frying pan.
Beware you, sir! I tell you, I ill-liked my father's lecture. Do not you read me another. It were best that no one crossed me, or by heaven. But who comes here?
Don Guillen de Azagra.
Enter Don Guillen.
What? Ask what reward you will of me, Vicente. Don Guillen de Azagra, back again!
And could not wait a moment, hearing you were also back, Don Lope, till I found you, as well to give you welcome as receive it.
Our old affection asks for nothing less on both sides. Oh, you are welcome.
Well can he come who comes half dead between dead hope and quickening passion.
How is that?
Why, you remember how 3 years ago I went to Naples, to the wars there.
Yes, we parted, I remember, sadly enough, on both sides, in the Plaza del Asio, unconsciously divining the sad days that were about to dawn on one of us.
Nay, upon both. I am no stranger, Lope, to your misfortunes, and heaven knows I felt them. But they are over, heaven be thanked. Mine yet are sadly acting. You can help me now, if not to conquer, to relieve them.
Aye, and will strain every nerve for you, but first must hear your story.
Well, I went to Naples, where, as you know, our king, by force of arms, was eager to revenge the shameful death of Norandino, whom the king of Naples had on the scaffold treacherously murdered, of which, and Naples too, I say no more than this, that entering the city, I saw a lady in whom the universe of beauty seemed to center, as it might be the sun's whole light into a single beam, the heavenly dawn into one drop of dew, or the whole breathing spring into one rose. You will believe I loved not without cause, when you have heard the lady that I speak of is
Donna Violante.
Knave and fool.
Why so, sir? Only for telling you I saw the lady coming this way? But, I suppose, seeing people here, she has turned back.
Will you retire a while, Don Guillen? This lady is my father's guest.
Guillen aside.
Besides, she might be angry finding me here.
Exit.
'Fore heaven, my mind misgave me it was she he spoke of.
Well, you have got the weather gauge. Tackle her now.
Enter Violante and Elvira.
Nay, lady, turn not back. Watch you the sun I see by, to abridge my little day, by enviously returning to the west as soon as risen, and prematurely drawing the veil of night over the blush of dawn. Oh, let me not believe I fright you now, as yesterday I did, fair Violante. Armed among savage rocks with savage men, from whose rude company your eyes alone have charmed me, and subdued for the first time a fierce, unbridled will.
It were not strange, Don Lope, if my bosom trembled still with that first apparition, but in truth I had not hesitated, had I not seen or fancied at your side another stranger.
Oh, a friend, and one who spoke with me of you? Nay, who retired only for fear of drawing new disdain upon old love, and left me here indeed to speak in his behalf.
Alas, Elvira, was't not Don Guillen?
Yes.
Don Lope pled another's and Don Guillen's love.
She is going.
At least let me attend you to my mother's door.
Nay, stay, sir.
Stay, and lose my life in losing this happy opportunity.
Are life and opportunity the same?
So far, that neither lost ever returns again.
If you have aught to tell me, tell it here before I go.
Only to ask if you confess yourself no debtor to a heart that long has sighed for you?
You, sir, are then pleading another's cause?
I might be shy to plead in my own person, a reserve that love oft feels and pardons.
'Tis in vain. I will not own to an account of sighs drawn up against me without my consent. So tell your friend, and tell him he mistakes the way to payment, making you of all his agent in the cause.
Nay, nay, but wait.
No more. Adieu.
Exit.
She thought I only used another suit as cover to my own, and cunningly my seeming cunning turns against myself. But I will after her. If Don Guillen comes back, tell him, Vicente, I'll wait upon him straight.
Exit.
Madam Elvira.
Well, Monsieur Cutthroat?
Well, you are not scared at my face now.
I don't know that. Your face remains as it was.
Come, come, my queen, do me a little favor.
Well, what is that?
Just only die for love of me. I always make a point of never asking impossibilities of any woman.
Love is out of the question. I perhaps might like you. Did I not know the lengths you go with that monkey Beatrice?
With whom?
I say with Beatrice. Bystanders see as much, sir, as players.
I with Beatrice? Lord, Lord, if you only knew half of what I know, Elvira, you'd not be jealous of her.
Why? What do you know of her?
A woman who, could she breed at all, would breed foxes and stoats. A tolerable outside, but only go near her. Whew, such a breath! Beside, other peculiarities I don't mention out of respect to the sex. But this I tell you, one of those sparkling eyes of hers is glass, and her right leg a wooden one.
Nonsense.
Only you look and see if she don't limp on one side and squint on the other.
Don Guillen entering at one side.
I can wait no longer.
Don Lope entering at the other.
It is no use. She is shut up with my mother. Now for Don Guillen.
They are back.
We'll settle our little matter by and by.
Glass eyes and wooden legs.
Exit. Lope to Don Guillen.
Forgive my leaving you so long. I have been waiting on one who is my father's guest, the Lady Violante.
So sweet duty needs no excuse.
Now to pursue your story.
Ah, where did I leave off?
About the truce-making at Naples, where you saw a lady.
Aye, but I must remember one thing, Lope, most memorable of all. The ambassador empowered to treat on our good king's behalf was Mendo de Torellas, whose great wisdom and justice, both grown grey in state affairs, well fitted him for such authority, which telling you beside, that when the treaty made, and he left Naples, I left it too, still following in his wake the track of a fair star who went with him to Saragossa, to this very house. Telling you this, I tell you all, tell who my lady is, his daughter, Violante, before whose shrine my life and soul together are but poor offerings to consecrate.
Vicente aside.
A pretty market we have brought our pigs to. Who'll bet upon the winner?
Lope aside.
Oh, confusion! But let us drain the cup at once. Don Guillen, your admiration and devotedness needed the addition of no name to point their object out. But tell me, ere I advise with you, how far your prayer is answered by your deity.
Alas, 2 words will tell.
And those?
Love unreturned, or worse, returned with hate.
Vicente aside.
Come, that looks better.
My love for her has now no hope, Don Lope. But in your love for me, she is your guest, and I, as such, beside my joy in you, may catch a ray of her, may win you even to plead for me in such another strain as has not yet wearied her ears in vain. Or might you not even now, as she returns, give her a letter from me, lest if first she see, or hear from others of my coming, She may condemn my zeal for persecution, and make it a matter of renewed disdain. I'll write the letter now, and bring it you ere she be back.
Exit. Vicente to Lope.
Goodbye, sir.
Whither now, Vicente?
To the mountains. I am sure you'll soon be after me.
I understand, but stay a while. True, I love Violante, and resent Don Guillen's rivalry, but he's my friend, confides to me a passion myself own, and cannot blame. Wait we a while, Vicente, and perhaps a way will open through the labyrinth without our breaking through.
How glad I am to see you take so patiently. Now, sir, would you be ruled?
What then?
Why, simply, sir, forget the lady, but a few days' flame, and then—
Impossible!
What's to be done, then?
I know not. But she comes.
Enter Violante.
Still here, Don Lope?
Ah, what in nature will its centre leave, or, forced away, recoils not faster still? So rivers yearn along their murmuring beds, until they reach the sea, the pebble thrown ever so high, still falls faster to earth. Wind follows wind, and not a flame struck out of heavy wood or flint, but it aspires upward at once and to its proper sphere.
All good philosophy, could I but see how to apply it here.
And yet how easy! Your beauty being that to which my soul ever flies fastest and most slowly leaves.
Surely this sudden rapture scarce agrees with what I heard before.
How, Violante?
Have you not haply changed parts in the farce, and risen from second character to first?
My second did not please you? Come what will, casting feigned speech and character aside, I'll e'en speak for myself in my own person. Listen to me, Don Guillen.
Guillen, listening at the side.
Just a moment to hear him plead my cause.
Following your beauty, as a flower the sun, has come from Italy to Arragon, and as my friend, by me entreats of you to let him plead his suit.
Would I could stay to hear the noble Lope plead my cause, but summoned hence.
Exit.
Ill does your second part excuse your ill performance of the first. One failure might be pardoned, but two such are scarce to be excused.
Oh, tell me then which chiefly needs apology.
I will. First for your friend Don Guillen, bid him cease all compliment and courtship, knowing well how all has been rejected hitherto, and will hereafter to the ruthless winds.
And on the second count, my own?
How easily out of his answer you may draw your own.
Alas!
For when the judge has to pronounce sentence on two defendants, like yourselves, whose charge is both alike and bids the one report his condemnation to the other, 'tis plain.
That both must suffer?
Nay, if so the judge had made one sentence serve for both.
Great heavens!
Guillen, listening at the side.
The man dismissed. I'll hear the rest.
Oh, let it be enough to tell you now, the heart that once indeed was adamant, resisting all impression, but at last, even adamant you know.
Oh, she relents.
Oh, let me kiss those white hands for those words.
Excellent friend, he could not plead more warmly were it for himself.
Oh, for some little token to vouch, when you have vanished from my eyes, that all was not a dream.
Violante, giving him a rose.
This rose whose hue is of the same that should my cheek imbue.
Exit. Enter Guillen.
Oh, how thrice welcome is my lady's favour, sent to me by the hand of such a friend. How but in such an attitude as this dare I receive it?
Kneels.
Rise, Don Guillen, rise. Flowers are but fading favours that a breath can change and wither.
What mean you by this?
Only that, though the flower in my hands is fresh from Violante's, I must tell you it must not pass to yours.
Did I not hear you pleading my cause?
You might.
And afterwards, when I came back again, herself confessed that, marble as she had been to my vows, she now relented toward me.
If you did, 'twould much disprove the listener's adage.
How?
You set your ears to such a lucky tune, as took in all the words that made for you, but not the rest that did complete the measure.
But did not Violante, when you urged her in my behalf, say she relented?
Yes.
To whom, then?
To myself.
The cat's unbagged.
To you?
To me.
Don Lope! You must see that even my friendship for you scarce can stomach such words, or credit them.
Let him beware who doubts my words, stomach them as he can.
But 'tis a jest. Bearing my happy fortune in your hands, you only, as old love has leave to do, tantalize, ere you give it me. Enough. Give me the rose.
I cannot, being just given to me and for me.
His it is, whose right it is, and that is mine, and I will have it.
If you can.
Then follow me, where, not in your own house, I may chastise the friendship that must needs have played me false one way or other.
Exit.
Lead the way, then, sir.
Enter hurriedly Donna Blanca and Violante from opposite sides.
Don Lope, what is this?
Nothing, Violante.
I heard your angry voices in my room and could not help.
And I too. Oh, my son, scarce home with us, and all undone already. Where are you going?
Nowhere. Nothing. Leave me.
Tell me the quarrel. Oh, I dread to hear.
What quarrel, lady? Let me go. Your fears deceive you.
Lope, not an hour of peace when you are here.
Nay, madam, why accuse me before you know the cause?
Enter Urrea.
How now? Disputing? Blanca and Violante too? What is it?
Oh, nothing. I must keep it from his father. Nothing. He quarrelled with Vicente here, and would have beat him, and we interposed. Indeed, no more.
The blame is sure to fall upon my shoulders.
Is not very strange your disposition, Lope? Never at peace with others or yourself?
'Tis nothing, sir.
He quarrelled with me, sir, about some money he thought he ought to have, and couldn't find in his breeches pockets.
Go, go. Get you gone, knave.
Vicente aside.
Always fair words from you, at any rate.
Such trifles, Lope. You disturb my house, affright your mother and her guest with your mad passion?
I can only, sir, answer such charge by silence and retire.
Aside.
Now for Don Guillen.
Exit.
Oh, let him not go.
Why not? 'Tis a good riddance. Violante, you must excuse this most unseemly riot close to your chamber. My unruly son, when his mad passions roused, neither respects person or place.
Nay, sir, I pardon him.
Aside.
And should, for I'm the cause.
Ah, wretched I, who by the very means I would prevent his going forth, have oped the door to him.
Noise within of swords, and the voices of Lope and Guillen fighting.
What noise is that again?
Enter Elvira.
'Tis in the street.
Enter Beatrice.
Oh, my young master, fighting! Run, sir, run!
And 'tis for this I've sacrificed myself.
Enter fighting Lope and Guillen. Gentlemen and others trying to part them. Urrea going between them.
Hold, Lope, hold, Don Guillen.
Part them! Part them! Part them! Part them! Part them!
Traitor!
Traitor! I say he's the traitor. Whoever,
Madman, can you not forbear when your grey-headed father holds your sword?
And in so doing robs me of the honour I never got from him.
Oh, ruffian, but if this graceless son will not respect his father, my white hairs appeal to you, Don Guillen.
And shall not appeal in vain, out of respect, sir, for your age and name, and for these gentlemen who interpose. I shall refer the issue of this quarrel to another time and place.
A good excuse for fear to hide in.
Fear?
Madman, again! That the respect his rival shows to me should make my son despise him. By these heavens, this stuff shall teach you better.
Strike me not! Beware! Beware!
Why, art thou not ashamed?
Yes, of respect for you, that's fear of me.
Whoever says or thinks what I have done is out of fear of you, I say.
He lies. I'll top your sentence for you.
Then take thou the answer.
Strikes Urrea, who falls. Confusion.
What have you done?
After him! After him! The parasite!
After him! After him!
After him!
The
After him!
parasite!
Lope rushes out, and the people after him.
I know not how to leave the poor old man. Come, let me help you, sir.
Parricide! My outraged heaven that has seen thy crime witness my curse and blast thee. Every sword that every pious hands against thee draws, caught up into the glittering elements, turned thunderbolts, as every weapon shall drawn in God's cause, and smite thee to the centre. That sacrilegious hands which thou hast raised against this snow-white head, how shall it show before heaven's judgment bar? Yea, how can heaven even now behold this deed, nor quench its sun, veil its pure infinite blue with awful cloud, and with a terrified eclipse of things confound the air you breathe, the light you see, the ground you walk on?
Pray, sir, compose yourself. Your cloak, your staff.
My staff. What use is that, when it is steel that must avenge my wrong? Yet give it me, fit instrument wherewith to chastise a rebellious child. Aye, and he did not use his sword on me. Mark that, nor I on him. Give me my staff. Alas, alas, and I, with no strength left to yield it, only as I halt along, feeling about with it to find a grave, and knocking at deaf earth to let me in.
Nay, calm yourself. The population of the place is up after the criminal.
And to what purpose? They cannot wipe away my shame by that. Oh, let the whole city turn its myriad eyes upon me, and behold a man disgraced, disgraced by him to whom he gave a being. I say, behold me all, the wretched man by his own flesh and blood insulted, and on his own flesh and blood crying, Revenge! 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 Not to the heavens only, nor to him who sits in judgment there, do I appeal, but to the powers of earth. Give me my hat. I'll to the king forthwith.
Consider, sir, you would not enter in the palace gates so suddenly and in this plight.
Why not? Whose voice should overleap the firmament, and without any preparation enter the palace doors of God? King Pedro, King of Arragon, Christian King, whom fools the cruel call, and just the wise. I call on you, King Pedro.
King entering with Mendo and train.
Who calls the king?
A wretch who, falling at your feet, implores your royal justice.
I remember you, Don Lope De Urrea, whose son I pardoned. What would you of me?
That you would, my king, unpardon him you pardoned. Draw on him the disappointed sword of justice down. That son, my son, if he indeed be mine. Oh, Blanca, pure as the first blush of day, pardon me such a word, has, after all my pain and sacrifice in his behalf, has, in defiance of the laws of man and God, and of that great commandment, which, though fourth on the two tables, yet comes first, after God's jealous honor is secured, has struck me, struck his father, in a fray wherein that father tried to save his life. I have no vindication, will have none, but at your hands and by your laws, unless, if you deny me that, I do appeal unto the King of Kings to do me justice, which I will have, that heaven and earth may know how a bad son begets a ruthless sire.
Mendo?
My liege.
I must again refer this cause to you.
To Urrea.
Where is your son?
Fled?
King, to Mendo.
After him, then. Use all the powers I own to bring the wretch to justice. See me not till that be done.
I'll do my best, my liege.
I have it most at heart. In all the rolls of history I know of no like quarrel, and the first judgment on it shall be done by the fourth Pedro, King of Arragon.
Excellent severally. End of Act 2. Act 3 of Three Judgments at a Blow by Pedro Calderón de la Barca, translated by Edward Fitzgerald. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1, A Wild Place. Enter Mendo and officers of justice, armed.
Here, my lord, where the Ebro, swollen with her mountain streams, runs swiftest, he will try to escape.
Hunt for him, then, leaving neither rock nor thicket unexplored.
They disperse.
Oh, what a fate is mine, having to seek what most I dread to find. Once thought the curse of jealousy alone. The Iron King will see my face no more unless I bring Don Lope to his feet, whom, on the other hand, the gratitude and love I bear him fain would save from justice. Oh, how!
Enter some, fighting with Don Lope.
I know I cannot save my life, but I will sell it dear.
Hold off! The king will have him taken, but not slain. And I, if I can save him now, shall find a mean to do it afterwards. Don Lope!
I should know that voice. The face I cannot, blind with fury, dust and blood. Or what's the echo of some inner voice, some far-off thunder of the memory, that moves me more than all these fellow swords? Is it Don Mendo?
Who demands of you your sword, and that you yield in the king's name.
I yield?
Aye, sir. What can you do beside?
Slaying be slain, and yet my heart relents before your voice. And now I see your face, my eyes dissolve in tears. Why? How is this? What charm is on my sword?
'Tis but the effect and countenance of justice that inspires involuntary awe in the offender.
Not that. Delinquent as I am, I could with no more awe of justice than a mad dog bite right and left among her officers. But 'tis yourself alone. To you alone do I submit myself. Yield up my sword, already running with your people's blood, and at your feet.
Rise, Lope. Heaven knows how gladly would your judge change place with you, the criminal. Far happier to endure your peril than my own anxiety. But do not you despair, however stern towards you I carry me before the world. The king is so enraged.
What? He has heard?
Your father cried for vengeance at his feet.
Where is my sword?
In vain. 'Tis in my hand.
Where somehow it affrights me, as before, when giving you my dagger, it turned on me with my own blood.
Oh, there. cover Don Lope's face, and carry him to prison after me.
Aside.
Hark, in your ear. Conduct him swiftly and with all secrecy to my own house, in by the private door, without his knowing whither, and bid my people watch and wait on him. I'll to the king. Alas, what agony, I know not what, grows on me more and more.
Excellent. Scene 2. A room in the palace. Enter King.
Don Mendo comes not back, and must not come till he have done his errand. I myself can have no rest till justice have her due. A son to strike his father in my realm unawed, and then unpunished? But by great heaven the law shall be avenged, so long as I shall reign in Arragon. Don Mendo?
Enter Mendo.
Let me kiss your highness's hand.
Welcome, thou other Atlas of my realm, who sharest the weight with me. For I doubt not, coming thus readily into my presence, you bring Don Lope with you.
Yes, my liege, fast prisoner in my house, that none may see or talk with him.
Among your services you have not done a better. The crime is strange, 'tis fit the sentence on it be memorably just.
Most true, my liege, who I am sure will not be warped away by the side current of a first report, but on the whole broad stream of evidence move to conclusion. I do know this charge is not so grave as was at first reported.
But is not thus much clear that a son smote his father?
Yes, my liege.
And can a charge be weightier?
I confess the naked fact, but 'tis the special cause and circumstance that give the special colour to the crime.
I shall be glad to have my kingdom freed from the dishonour of so foul a deed by any extenuation.
Then I think your majesty shall find it here. 'Tis thus. Don Lope, on what ground I do not know, fights with Don Guillen. In the midst of the fray comes old Urrea, at the very point when Guillen was about to give the lie to his opponent, which the old man, enraged at such unseemly riot in his house, gives for him, calls his son a fouler name than gentleman can bear, and in the scuffle receives a blow that in his son's blind rage was aimed abroad. In the first heat of passion throws himself at your feet and calls for vengeance, which, as I hear, he now repents him of. He's old and testy, age's common fault, and were not this enough to lame swift justice, there's an old law in Arragon, my liege, that in our courts father and son shall not be heard in evidence against each other, by which provision I would fain persuade you bury this quarrel.
And this seems just to you?
It does, my liege.
Then not to me, Don Mendo, who will examine, sentence, and record whether in such a scandal to the realm the son be guilty of impiety, or the sire idle to accuse him of't. Therefore I charge you have Urrea too from home to-night, and guarded close alone. It much imports the business.
I will, my liege.
Exeunt severally. Scene 3. A corridor in Urrea's house, with 3 doors in front. Enter from a side door Violante and Elvira.
Ask me no more, Elvira. I cannot answer when my thoughts are all locked up where Lope lies.
I know you where that is, nearer than you think, there, in my lord your father's room.
There. Oh, could I but save him!
You can at least comfort him.
Something must be done. Either I will save his life, Elvira, or die with him. Have you the key?
I have one. My lord has the master key.
Yours will do. Give it me. I am desperate, Elvira, and in his danger drown my maiden shame. See him I will at least. Do you rest here and give me a warning if a footstep come.
She enters center door. Scene 4. An inner chamber in Urrea's house. Lope discovered.
Whither then have they brought me? Ah, Violante, your beauty costs me dear, and even now I count the little I have yet to live, minute by minute, like one last sweet draught, but for your sake. Nay, 'tis not life I care for, but only Violante.
Violante entering unseen.
Oh, his face is bathed in his own blood. He has been wounded. Don Lope.
Who is it calls on a name I thought all tongues had buried in its shame?
One who yet pities you.
Lope turning and seeing her.
Am I then dead, and thou some living spirit come to meet me upon the threshold of another world? Or some dead image that my living brain draws from remembrance on the viewless air, and gives the voice I love to? O being here, whatever thou mayst be, torment me not by vanishing at once.
No spirit, Lope, and no delusive image of the brain, but one who, wretched in your wretchedness and partner of the crime you suffer for, all risk of shame and danger cast away, has come. But hark, I may have but a moment. The door I came by will be left unlocked tonight, and you must fly.
Oh, I have heard of a fair flower of such strange quality. It makes a wound where there was none before, and heals what wound there was. Oh, Violante, you who first made an unscathed heart to bleed, now save a desperate life.
And I have heard of 2 yet stranger flowers, that severally each in its heart a deadly poison holds, which if they join, turns to a sovereign balm. And so with us, who in our bosoms bear a passion which destroys us when apart, but when together.
Elvira calling within.
Madam, your father.
Farewell.
But you return?
To set you free.
That as it may, only return to me.
Exit Violante, leaving Lope. Scene 5, same as Scene 3. Elvira waiting. Enter Violante from center door.
Quick, lock the door, Elvira, and away with me on wings. My father must not find me here.
Nay, you need not be frightened. He has gone to my Lady Blanca's room, by the way.
No matter, he must not find me. I would learn too what is stirring in the business. Oh, would I ever drag my purpose through. I must be desperate and cautious too.
Exit. Elvira locking the door.
Well, that's all safe, and now myself to hear what news is stirring.
Vicente talking as he enters.
In the devil's name, was there ever such a clutter made about a blow? People all up in arms, and running here and there, and up and down, and everywhere, as if the great Tom of Villela was a-ringing.
Vicente, what's the matter?
Oh, a very great matter, Elvira. I am very much put out indeed.
What about, and with whom?
With all the world, and my 2 masters, the young and old one especially.
But about what?
With the young one for being so ready with his fists, and the old one bawling out upon it to heaven and earth. And then Madame Blanca, she must join in the chorus too, and then your grand Don Mendo there, with whom, seizing so much in season, he has seized my master, and my master's father, and Don Guillen, and clapped them all up in prison. Then I've a quarrel with the king.
With the king? You must be drunk, Vicente.
I only wish I was.
But what has king done?
Why, let me be beaten at least 50,000 times without caring a jot. And now, forsooth, because an old fellow gets a little push, his eyes flash axe and gibbet? Then, Elvira, I'm very angry with you.
And why with me?
Because, desperately in love with me as you are, you never serenade me, nor write me a billet doux, nor ask me for a kiss of my fair hand.
Have I not told you, sir? I leave that all to Beatrice.
And have I not told you Beatrice may go hang for me?
Oh, Vicente, could I believe you?
Come, give me a kiss on credit of it. In case I lie, I'll pay you back.
Well, for this once.
Enter Beatrice.
The saints be praised, I found you at last.
Beatrice!
Well, what's the matter?
You'll soon see.
Oh, pray, proceed, good folks. Never mind me. You've business. Don't interrupt it. I've seen quite enough, besides being quite indifferent to who wears my cast-off shoes.
I beg to say, madam, I wear no shoes except my own, and if I were reduced to other people's, certainly should not choose that they are made of for a wooden leg.
A wooden leg? Pray, madame, what has a wooden leg to do with me?
Oh, madam, I must refer you to your own feelings.
I tell you, madame, these hands should tear your hair up by the roots, if it had roots to tear.
Now for her turn.
Why does she mean to insinuate my hair as false as that left eye of hers?
Do you mean to insinuate my left eye is false?
Aye, I say it to your teeth.
More, madame, than I ever could say to yours, unless, indeed, you've paid, madame, for the set you wear.
Have you the face to say my teeth are false?
Have you the face to say my eyes of glass?
I will teach you to say I wear a wig.
Would that my leg were wood just for the occasion.
Ladies, first consider where we are.
Oh-ho, I think I begin to understand.
Oh, and so methinks do I.
It is this wretch,
This knave,
this rascal,
this vagabond,
has told all these lies.
has done all this mischief.
They set upon and pinch him, etc.
Ladies, mercy! Oh, ladies, just listen!
Listen indeed, if it were not that I hear people coming.
Heaven be praised for it.
We will defer the execution then, and, in the meanwhile, shall we two sign a treaty of peace?
My hand to it, agreed.
Adieu.
Adieu.
Exeunt Beatrice and Elvira.
The devil that seized the swine sure has seized you, and all your pinches make me tenfold writhe, because you never give the king his tithe.
Exit. Scene 6. Donna Blanca's apartment. It is dark. Enter the king, disguised, and Blanca following him.
Who is this man that in the gathering dusk enters our house, and masked and muffled thus? What is it you want? To croak new evil in my ears? For none but ravens now come near us. Such a silence is not the less ill-omened. Beatrice, a light. My blood runs cold. Answer me, man. What want you with me?
Let us be alone, and I will tell you.
Leave us, Beatrice. I'll dare the worst. And now reveal yourself.
Not till the door be locked.
Help! Help!
Be still.
What would you? And who are you, then?
King, discovering himself.
The king.
The king?
Do you not know me?
Yea, my liege. Now the black cloud has fallen from the sun, but cannot guess why at an hour like this, and thus disguised. Oh, let me know at once whether in mercy or new wrath you come to this most wretched house.
In neither, Blanca, but in the execution of the trust that heaven has given to kings.
And how, my liege, fall I beneath your royal vigilance?
You soon shall hear. But, Blanca, first take breath, and still your heart to its accustomed tune, for I must have you all yourself to answer what I must ask of you. Listen to me. Your son, in the full eye of God and man, has struck his father, who as publicly has cried to me for vengeance. Such a feud, coming at length to such unnatural close, men 'gin to turn suspicious eyes on you. You, Blanca, so mixed up in such a cause as in the annals of all human crime is not recorded. Men begin to ask, can these indeed be truly son and sire? This is the question, and to sift it home, I am myself come hither to sift you by my own mouth. Open your heart to me, relying on the honour of a king, that nothing you reveal to me tonight shall ever turn against your good repute. We are alone, none to waylay the words that travel from your lips. Speak out at once, or by the heavens, Blanca.
Oh, my liege, not in one breath turn royal mercy into needless threat. Though it be true my bosom has so long this secret kept close prisoner, and hoped to have it buried with me in my grave, yet if I peril my own name and theirs by such a silence, I'll not leave to rumour another hour's suspicion, but reveal to you, my liege, yea, and to heaven and earth, my most disastrous story.
I attend.
My father, though of lineage high and clear as the sun's self, was poor, and knowing well how in this world honour fares ill alone, betrothed the beauty of my earliest years, the only dowry that I brought with me, to Lope De Urrea, whose estate was to supply the much he missed of youth. We married, like December wed to May, or flower of earliest summer set in snow. Yet heaven witness that I honoured, ay, and loved him, though with little cause of love, and ever cold returns. But I went on doing my duty toward him, hoping still to have a son to fill the gaping void that lay between us. Yea, I prayed for one so earnestly that God, who has ordained that we should ask at once for all and nothing of him who best knows what is best for us, denied me what I wrongly coveted. Well, let me turn the leaf on which are written the troubles of those ill-assorted years. And to my tale. I had a younger sister, whom to console me in my wretched home I took to live with me, of whose fair youth a gentleman enamoured. O my liege, ask not his name. Yet why should I conceal it, whose honour may not leave a single chink for doubt to nestle in? Sir, 'twas Don Mendo, your minister, who, when his idle suit prospered not in my sister's ear, found means, feeing one of the household to his purpose, to get admittance to her room by night, where, swearing marriage soon should sanction love, he went away the victor of an honour that like a villain he had come to steal. Then, but a few weeks after, so men quit all obligation save of their desire, married another, and growing great at court, went on your father's bidding into France ambassador, and from that hour to this knows not the tragic issue of his crime. I, who perceived my sister's altered looks, and how in mind and body she fared ill, with menace and persuasion wrung from her the secret I have told you, and of which she bore within her bosom such a witness as doubly preyed upon her life. Enough, she was my sister, why reproach her then, and to no purpose now the deed was done? Only I wondered at mysterious heaven, which her misfortune made to double mine, who had been pining for the very boon that was her shame and sorrow, till at last, out of the tangle of this double grief, I drew a thread to extricate us both, by giving forth myself, about to bear the child whose birth my sister should conceal. 'Twas done. The day came on. I feigned the pain she felt, and on my bosom as my own cherished the crying infant she had borne, and died in bearing. For even so it was. I and another matron, who alone was partner in the plot, assigning other illness for her death. This is my story, sir. This is the crime, of which the guilt being wholly mine, be mine the punishment. I pleading on my knees my love both to my husband and my sister as some excuse. Pedro of Arragon, whom people call the just, be just to me. I do not ask for mercy, but for justice, and that, whatever be my punishment, it may be told of me, and put on record, that howsoever and with what design I might deceive my husband and the world, at least I have not shamed my birth and honour.
King apart.
Thus much at least is well. The blackest part of this unnatural feud is washed away by this confession, though it swell the list of knotted doubts that justice must resolve. As thus, Don Lope has reviled and struck one whom himself and all the world believe his father, a belief that I am pledged not to disprove. Don Mendo has traduced a noble lady to her death, and Blanca contrived an ill imposture on her lord. 2 secret and 1 public misdemeanour, to which I must adjudge due punishment. Blanca, enough at present. You have done your duty. Fare you well.
Heaven keep your highness.
Don Mendo knocking within.
Open the door.
Who calls?
I know not, sir.
Open it then, but on your life reveal not that I am here.
King hides. Blanca opens the door.
Who is it calls?
Enter Mendo.
I, Blanca.
Your errand?
Only, Blanca, to beseech you fear not, whatever you may hear or see against your son. His cause is in my hands, his person in my keeping. Being so, who shall arraign my dealings with him?
King coming forth.
I.
My liege, if you...
Enough. Give me the key of Lope's prison.
This it is, my liege, only...
I know enough. Blanca, retire. Mendo, abide you here. Tonight shall show if I be worthy of my name or no.
Exit.
What is the matter, Blanca?
Your misdeeds and mine, Don Mendo, which just heaven now revenges with one blow on both of us, after the king, nor leave him till he swear to spare my Lope, who, I swear to you, is not my son, but yours, and my poor Laura's.
Merciful heavens! But I will save his life, come what may to me.
Away, away then.
Exeunt severally. Scene 7, same as Scene 3. Enter Violante and Elvira at a side door.
Consider, madam.
No.
But think.
I tell you it must be done.
They will accuse your father.
Let them. I tell you it must be done, and now. I ask you not for advice, but to obey me. Unlock the door.
Oh, how I tremble. Hark.
A moment. They must not find him passing out, the attempt and not the deed confounding us. Listen.
Elvira listening at a side door.
I can hear nothing distinct, only a confused murmur of voices.
Let me. Hush. Hark. They are approaching.
Enter Mendo.
Anguish! Oh, anguish!
My father.
Ay, indeed, and a most wretched one.
What is it, sir? Tell me at once.
I know not. Oh, 'tis false. I know too well, and you must know it too. My daughter, The poor prisoner who lies there is my own son, not Blanca's, not Urrea's, but my own son, your brother, Violante.
My brother?
Aye, your brother, my own son, whom we must save.
Alas, sir, I was here on the same errand, ere I knew, but hark, all's quiet now.
A groan within.
Listen, what groan was that?
My hand shakes so, I cannot.
Lope within.
Mercy! Oh, God!
The key. But hark, they call again at either door. We must unlock.
They unlock the side doors. Enter through one, Blanca and Beatrice. Through the other, Urrea and Vicente.
Don Mendo, the king desires me, from your mouth, to learn his sentence on my son.
Oh, Violante!
From me, to whom the king as yet has not delivered it. But what is this? Oh, God!
The center door opens, and Don Lope is discovered, garroted with a paper in his hand, and lights at each side.
A sight to turn rancor into remorse.
In his cold hand he holds a scroll. The sentence, it may be, the king referred you to. Read it, Urrea. I cannot. Oh, my son, the chastisement that I alone have merited has come upon us both, and doubled the remorse that I must feel and stifle.
Urrea reading.
He that reviles and strikes whom he believes his father, let him die forth. And let those who have disgraced the noble name or joined the kneeling posture see his doom, and show 3 judgments summed up in a single blow.
End of Act 3. End of 3 Judgments at a Blow by Pedro Calderón de la Barca, translated by Edward Fitzgerald.